I'm speaking on behalf of Judiy Academy. We're raising optimistic leaders guided by faith, excelling by knowledge. Judiy is our newly established school. We were established last year. It was the first school in the Tri-Valley area. Our first year started with 33 students, and the grades were from second grade to sixth grade. And this year we have from first to seventh. It emphasizes a holistic Islamic environment, promotes academic excellence. We have Quran and Arabic daily. Our curriculum is very specialized, and we have a lot of cooperative and hands-on learning. So the basis of Judiy, which is named after the mountain from which poured forth the good Muslims that spread Islam forth. The idea is spreading Islam. We as parents, and especially Muslims in a non-Muslim country, have vacillated between two extremes. On the one hand, we want to protect our students, we want to protect our children from what we see as all sorts of negative influences on the outside. At the same time, we want them to take part in society and claim their place and position in the world. And so, subhanAllah, this has, different families and different schools have responded in different ways. We hope to create a generation that can, and give them a bridge so that not only will they be strongly rooted in their faith, but they can move forward without being influenced or affected or feel the pressure to assimilate, and claim their place and influence the people around them. So the most important thing, of course, is faith, because it gives you, this is the source of our strength, and it gives you your worldview. Academics, of course, are the key to any accomplishment, so they have to be at a very high level. Optimism is something that we really stress in our school, because we, as adults, have come across times that are really difficult, and there's a lot of sadness and despair and a lot of confusion on how to deal with the issues that are around us. And in doing so, we need to be fortified with something called optimism, which is حسن الظن بالله. It's an integral part of our faith, is to be hopeful and to be optimistic, and not to be taken by numbers, and not to be taken by what things look like on a superficial level. And the culmination of all of this is we hope to have leadership. Of course, leadership means self-discipline, first and foremost. In order, you need to find the leader within you. So you need to have self-discipline, and then claim your voice and give voice to others, which is being of service to the community. So faith, of course, we stress here, we want them to have, we're not a hifz school, although we encourage it greatly in our students. We definitely want them to have the ability to read the Quran correctly. So we start with the Qa'ida Nuraniya, we take this very seriously. Then we move on to a surah they've never been exposed to test whether they're able to apply what they learned. Then we move on to both tilawa and memorization. And each child has their own track and keeps their own file of how they are moving forward. The point here is to get them, number one, to love the Quran and become attached to it, and number two, to begin to understand the Quran, so they can understand the prayers, which is the pillar of Islam as well. Arabic, our goal is to bring Quran and Hadith to vivid comprehension. We have a very unique program of Quran, most of Arabic, teaching Arabic. Most Arabic programs stress learning, that want you to understand the Quran, stress learning a certain number of vocabulary that is, the most frequently used in the Quran. But this program is based on the most frequently used grammatical structures and phrases in the Quran, the sentence structure and the phrases. So this particular program uses these phrases and grammatical structures in different, not in the Quran, in child-friendly text until the child begins to really understand them. And the other unique thing about this program is that it tries to get the child to acquire the language as a native speaker would acquire it, by listening a lot first, and then speaking, and then reading and writing. Islamic studies, unfortunately, we were not able to find a single program that would cover the scope and depth of what we want the child to learn. So we have an interweaving of many different programs that cover Aqidah and Sira, Hadith and Fiqh, Akhlaq, and finally, for our older students, Tazkiyah. This is not only something that they learn, but something that we want to see them practicing. And so, starting with the morning adhkar circle from the early morning to monitoring their wudu and their prayer in the masjid, having a turn of who's doing the adhan, who's doing the iqama, but also when they go home, they have, as you see here, we sent home with them a chart of the days and the prayers, and so they can keep track, and they bring it home and they sit down and they try to figure out a pattern. Why did I miss this prayer, or which prayers are most difficult for me? What can I do about that in order to be able to solve this problem? And then we talk about optimism, developing an optimistic mindset rooted in faith and positive vision for the future. Believe it or not, a skill that not everyone is born with. It is a skill that you can train a child to have them see the yusr, that every usr is sandwiched in between, to have them recognize the blessings that they have grown too accustomed to value and see. So on a regular basis, if you're asking them, what is the happiest thing that happened to you today? Or what is the greatest blessing that you felt today? You are helping them focus on the optimistic and hopeful parts of their day and of their life. And of course, this comes from faith. So we have daily and weekly routine of that's instilling faith in them. All the interaction between teachers and students themselves emphasizes kindness. So if you see here, I'll be talking about this later, we have this chart where we started monitoring the kind actions and words that were being said. And I was given a list. No one was ever allowed to tell me who it was, but we kept count. And if you see the red line is all the unkind actions and words that peaked at a certain point, and the green are the kind actions and words that kept increasing until it outdid. This we stopped at here. This was like the third week, but it went on so that the green outdid the red completely. It was a school goal that we wanted to have a culture of kindness, and so when instead of tattling on a person, you remind them what they need to do. Instead of punishing a child, you sit down with them and try to get them or give them a chance to redeem themselves from whatever it is that they had done. And subhanAllah, everyone that has visited our school has been able to point out something very special about the environment, about the culture, about the kindness that they see. This environment is extended also to the home, as parents receive a weekly letter telling them, what happened, and reminding them of the things we have agreed, like the media policy. Our academics is carefully chosen. We have a very strong ELA program where one of the reasons I chose it is because, you're supposed to cover 6 novels from about 30, so you get to choose 6 that are in line with our values. And you get to choose which biographies they need to research. It encourages writing from a very young age. For math, we use Singapore. For science, we have we have 4 periods of science a week and a very rigorous program, weekly lab, children look forward to science like crazy. Parents used to ask me, what do you teach for Aqidah? And they would be surprised when I said science, because to me, science is Aqidah. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the ayahs, that you have to, the signs in the Quran that you need to read as verses, and the signs in the universe around you that you can only learn about through science to say subhanallah. So it's, in the MAP exams, we have reached excellence in the scores that we get for science. In history, we teach Western and Islamic history side by side so that the child does not have a fragmented view of the world as usually happens. We have summative and formative assessments. Of course, continuous progress is monitored. Their growth is being monitored through the MAP exams, which analyze exactly what needs to be worked on. And then we have self-tracking. It's all about the child feeling empowered, that they are in charge of so much that happens in school. And one of the things is also their studies. So they set their own personal academic goal and their own personal goal, and they are tracking this continuously, and they are motivated to improve in terms of academics, because this has become something that they own. Every Friday, the teachers jokingly call it their Jum'ah khutbah. The students, I sit with the entire school every single Friday, and we talk, we discuss a specific Muslim leader. And then we try to figure out, this is a leader of what? A leader of teaching, a leader of invention, leader of planning, leader of ruling, leader of da'wah, but all the leaders, and we try to see what do they all have in common, and what is it that we can learn from them. And this has been an extremely interesting time, because the students are drawing upon their own history and seeing how, and a lot of them are people that are in the modern history as well, and seeing how possible it is to bring about change in the world that is positive. The leadership skills. So we use the Leader in Me. We are a Leader in Me school, and this Leader in Me is, many people have questioned, why would you choose something like this when all of the points in it are very Islamic? You could have taught it from an Islamic point of view, and I tell them it's intentional and purposeful. I want to create a bridge. I want them to learn the terminology and learn the mindset of the society that they're living in, so that they can interact with these people without feeling intimidated, without needing to withdraw, without feeling that they are threatened in any way. So we are a Leader in Me school, and the 4 disciplines of execution is what I was telling you, is a way to accomplish a certain goal. It starts with a sentence from where they are to wherever you want them to be by a certain specific time, and there's you keep track of what's happening. Also for leadership, we introduce them little by little to supervised and controlled interaction with non-Muslims. What I've seen, sadly, when you're as old as I am, you've seen a lot. What I've seen is that sometimes, with the best intentions, the families have kept this child in such a beautiful Islamic environment, but when they go to the university or they have a job, or after they get married and they're interacting with non-Muslims, and they feel pressured, they cave in, and they begin to assimilate, and they begin to feel that this is not something they can maintain. But if they're given small doses of how to interact with people that are not like us, and how to keep and how to show. So this school came to visit us. It was a non-Muslim school, a public school. One, they had something called World Religion Month, and so they came to visit us, and our students did the adhan and the iqamah in front of them, and did the prayer and answered questions. We had Heritage Day then, and they explained to them about every, we have at least 14 different backgrounds that our students are from. And so for each one of those booths, the students spoke about the heritage and everything else, but also spoke about how Islam spread to that particular country. And that was extremely interesting. And so things like this give them the practice needed to learn how to interact with others with total confidence. Lastly, everything, like I said, we do in the school is intentional. We feel time is precious. So we have clubs every week. Once a week, we have a period called clubs. It changes every 6 weeks. The teachers will explain to the students 12 different clubs that are there for them to vote for, and each child chooses their first, second, and third, makes their first, second, and third choice. We are teaching them to make choices. We are teaching them to learn a skill, the pleasure of accomplishment, to reach a certain goal, to be exposed to various new interests, and to work with a different age group. So they're together not by grade, but by choice of the club that they have chosen. To go back to the point that I think is the most important here, alhamdulillah, everyone here, all these teaching institutions are doing their utmost with what they are able to do to help the Muslim Ummah. But I want to make an appeal to those who are here and those who are listening to us. I want to make an appeal to people to sacrifice for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sacrifice the future that they think is the best ever for them, and go into teaching, go into education, go into have the people that are building masajid. Wallah, we need masajid, but we need schools more. We need a school in every single neighborhood. We need a school in every community. Alhamdulillah, when we started Judiy, we were seven people. And then, subhanAllah, Allah's blessing was that so many people went in different directions. And 3 schools were the result of this instead of 1. And hopefully the others that haven't started schools of those 7 will be starting schools as well. Each one of us, and subhanAllah, I heard the sister now saying exactly what I keep saying. MashaAllah, hers has reached perfection. I keep saying, when our schools reaches perfection, this is a sadaqah for anybody who wants. Take the package, start it anywhere you want. We need schools everywhere. The most important institution in a non-Muslim country, even in Muslim countries, but in a non-Muslim country, is for the children to experience what it's like to live in a beautiful Islamic environment and learn from Muslims and be trained to form this bridge between them and the society they're in, so that they're not in a little cocoon. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.